Flat Earth British, Martin Liedtke speaking. Alright guys, welcome to Flatterday. Flat thumbs to all. A traditional show that we have on Flat Earth British where we end the week with Brian Splats and enjoyment and kick back and not take life too seriously. Okay, is what we do on Flat Earth British. We up the vibration and we have a fantastic time. So make sure to join this show's chat feed if you're watching. Say hi and kick back and enjoy yourself. Let your hair down, like literally, if you've got any. Okay. So we're going to have some fun, and we're going to have some cool Brian Splats and information. We're going to destroy a couple of historical narratives. We're going to look into the Tartarian transport, or the thought transport of Tartaria is the air balloon. Okay, and we're going to look into hard evidence, guys, that the Tartarians were doing transatlantic flights, okay, in the late 1700s, or so they say. We're also going to look into mud flood, and we're going to look into very persuasive evidence, which I have shown many times before, but this is pretty cool, of the mud flood happening, or the classical world being taken out, an apocalyptic event, mud flood and meltage and carnage, as little as just over 400 years ago. Okay, which is in a depicted book. We're going to look into what would they do with a massive amount of dead people. Well, we've talked about this quite a bit. So we're going to have some ideas of what they could do with large amounts of dead people later on in this post. All in the best possible taste. Anyway, so we're going to look at some vintage photographs later on of cool as Brussels and art of Paris, one of the very early expositions, and what it had on offer from its spoils of the stealing of a civilization. And it is all quite mind-blowing, okay? Leading us up to what we've been up to on Flat Earth British all week. It's been a splat, brilliant week. Loved every minute of this week. It's been fantastic. And I was on a show last night and had a live event because yesterday was my soul day, okay? I reached the ripe young age of 53. Yeah, I know. Probably shouldn't tell everyone that. So yeah, I cranked up live on the Flat Earth British Think Tank channel. If you don't know about that, I suggest you subscribe, because I basically put maybe 3 videos out on this week on there, including an extra. Okay, so forget all your woes, if you've got any. Forget all your worries or all of the strangeness that's going on in the world that is getting increasingly weird and increasingly strange. Okay. Right. Escapism. Okay. Perfect escapism. Now, we're going to start here, guys, okay, with the age of ballooning. Okay. And the official story which they give you in the history books, which doesn't add up. Please make sure to share this out, subscribe to all Flat Earth British channels, and whatever YouTube bumfluffery is available. I'd be very grateful. Thank you. Flat thumbs. Are you doing flat thumbs? You've got to start the show. Get a happy hat while you're at it. Okay. So, fun time. I love Flatterdays. They're the best part of the week. Well, it's all pretty cool anyway, but Flatterdays is like a tradition. And I like Flat Earth British traditions and splattage. Do you? Anyway, let's start here. Balloons. Balloons. What you got here is our Flat Earth British Martin Liedtke Mud Flood website, okay, flatearthbritishinfo.com, and this is the airships section of it, okay, which is pretty fantastic anyway. So what we think is the Hindenburg airship disaster was a distraction, but it also got rid of the safe, good old air balloons, where you get massive amounts of people flying in luxury and relative safety as well. Not far off the water, gently across the Atlantic Ocean. We'll have a look at the historical narrative, see what they say about it all. Okay, so yeah, there's some ideas. Apparently, the first, balloon flights of the Montgolfier brothers in France is probably, known to you as the official narrative. Although we've got evidence of a lot of ballooning and dirigibles very early on, as you can see here in some ancient Chinese artage. Oh, they look like the manners, but they are could be balloonage. And we thought about umbrellas and these butterfly things that are on top, butterfly wings, some sort of levitational technology through, I don't know, scarab wings stuff. Something with electromagnetic properties that levitates. But it seems that, at this time they're flying around like this, like Mary Poppins. And all sorts of crazy ideas for what looks a bit steampunky but crazy massive airships in the past, as you can see. So we have evidence we've brought forward of them doing flotillas, airdrops, and we also put forward on Flat Earth British that we think that the vanilla skies could be hiding all of the balloons that are up in the air because this is the transport of the day. Also docking stations could have been spires on cathedrals, and some of the infrastructure of Tartaria could indeed, including a lot of these portals, be connected with the balloon technologies of refueling. So could they really be as big as a giant ship and have hundreds of people in there and everything you need for your journey? Yes, probably. And this is the juicy image. That is a bit of a killer. We'll look at that one in a minute. And over Istanbul, a Graf Zeppelin, but I'm guessing that's more modern. And images of strange balloon-like devices way off into the distant past. And these strange umbrella things that I've posted about many times. They seem to have some maglev. Giant ships, how far can they go? Across the Atlantic? And an idea for Tartarian travel. So I think this is realistic of what it was like the last civilization. To think how the future is or is going to be, you've got to think how the past was. Yeah, that's how we find out where our future is going. And we've also put it forward that a lot of these infrastructure, or the repurposed infrastructure after mud flood, of these giant crystal palaces, or, a lot of them have repurposed into railway stations, and these ones are the great expositions, would indeed be perfect hangars for airships. You may have looked at my community page this morning, and I posted a really large dirigible in one of these possible hangars have been repurposed. Okay. And some people say the steampunk put these images of these steampunky shots and slipped them into photographs. But I think it would be a convenient psyop to get your eye off what's really going on. So were they like that in Tartaria? Well, airships were connecting up to the top of skyscrapers such as the Empire State Building, and people were getting out. Sorry, strange image. And use more Tartaria as well. So the free energy, and this is a 1920s vision or Edwardian vision of the future. They got the antennas right. Not so much with the wires, it's more wireless now, but were these really like on Blade Runner? Because Blade Runner is pretty futuristic, isn't it? And that is the past. That is the past. It's like they give it, they're all in plain sight. So, according to the official narrative, okay, the first balloon flight was in 17th of August 1978. Okay, Lindenberg's apparently the first transatlantic air flight, but the balloon flight was apparently down to Double Eagle. So there's your Masonic, double-headed eagle thing there in straight away. Ben Abruzzo, Maxine Alexandra and Larry Newman became the first balloon to cross the Atlantic Ocean when it landed on the 17th of August 1978 near Paris. Okay, now, and it left from Maine. Now, in this image, okay, which apparently is not fiction, is not a state of fiction, the narrative says the aerostat vessel, or the aerostatic vessel, or the return of my uncle with an explanation of his travel to America. And this guy has flown across the Atlantic Ocean in 17 i783, okay, full couple of hundred years ahead of the official narrative, with a flotilla of balloons, okay, and he arrives in Boston. He arrives in Boston. I wouldn't mind if one of you guys who speak French could tell me everything that says there. I couldn't really copy and paste this and run it in translator. I did try. But regardless, he's arrived across the Atlantic, going against the supposed spin of the Earth, and the other journey, which they just showed you was the other way. Okay, so I'm interested in the architecture also of Boston. Look at this style, these churches and these domes for Boston. Looks much older. So, pretty much says that they are traveling across the Atlantic Ocean in the days of Tartaria, which I think is definitely a thing. So that's Splat. The official narrative is way off, okay, by a couple of hundred years, according to this image, which is apparently not a fact. It's not fiction, okay, because he's waiting for his uncle, who's just flown back from America. Anyway, so what we're going to look into now, we're going to have a bit of a mixed bag today. It's been a crazy busy week. All we'll be explaining along the way in this post is some graphs or some engravings that show you pretty well mud flood. I think that if you can look for another explanation of what is going on, I'm open to suggestions in chat. So this is from I think it's 1585, ruins of mythology and classical art and lost architecture. Okay, and indeed that is what you're getting, because at that period, whoever is basically the artist of these engravings is depicting what he's seeing. And as you can see, this is only a few years after. The mud is still in place, this strange death cult statues and the classical world, and everyone is mad maxing it out and surviving. This is what they had, and this is what they're reduced to. Would you not agree this is the case? And it's had time for a bit of vegetation and plantage to grow back, so I would say maybe a couple of decades, if that, after the mud flood. And that's that is the giant Colossus, Gates of Colossus. As you can see, pyramids and the antique world is smashed, and everyone's got bunkers, always bunkers in the mud flood, because people get prepared and they know something's coming, because they prepare accordingly. And this classical world, which is all pyramids, obelisks, smashed. Can you imagine the size of this civilization, which they would call Rome or Greece or Carthage or whatever empire? But so what my mind says is the fact remains that this is all only 400 or 500 years ago. This is buried to the top. I would say this is buried too. This is crazy. That is just the height. The arch. What would be the arch? What would be the purpose? Demagnetization. So there's the survivors. They got to put their statues in absolutely everywhere, the Phoenicians. But the fact still remains that they got reset. The classical world got taken out. And this is why they got these up here. They built them up there to keep out of the way of the flood waters, which probably receded, and there was probably some sort of plasma event. I see how the two go together, but volcanic activity and everything else all at the same time, I think it's a doable thing. Look at this. Everything's disappeared by here by the look of it, and that's been sunken. Like it's been ripped apart. You see what I mean? And this seems to be what's left of it, all flooded. So, got Phoenician in the water. People are running from flood waters, is my guess. And I would say that is buried, and that is buried. In fact, I would say all of that is buried, wouldn't you? And the trees have just come back after the event. And the event is still ongoing, but we've read about all of this a few years after all this event. We have John Strue's book and his sails across Tartaria and Asia, witnessing the wrecked classical world. But it's still burning, and there's still battles going on. That would be power struggle. So arcs, possibly bunkers, energy devices covered in electrum, very possibly. Nesting technology inside, very possibly. That would work too. Repurposed, that would work too. So would you agree or disagree that these boulders and all of this mud, which is, globby and, what would be the word? Blobby. Is all in this beautiful, amazing, whatever it was, classical building that is now gone? No? Well, it's mud. And something came along powerful enough to smash this architecture, which we see everywhere still in the modern day. Look at the photographs of Baalbek, or take your pick. Palmyra, or even Rome, which was dug out in the 1930s by Mussolini, because it was all buried up until that date. Look at this. So the classical world's taken out, I would say, not too long after this time. This still looks mud flooded, but that was survived architecturally. Not so much this side. He hasn't even got clothes, or she hasn't, or what have you, because they are all Mad Maxy. Got nothing going on. And is this mud? Would you build this architecture in all of that? I suppose the historical narrative school of thought is, this was eons ago, but these survivors, and these didn't, build this stuff. This is built with sacred geometry. This is sacred mathematics. Microcosms of the structure where we live. Look at this, mudded. Probably bugging out in there. So still mud rivers, I suppose, here maybe. Wow, truly messed up. Oh, that's definitely mudded, isn't it? So there's a lot of trouble going on. I'm going to bash your brains in. Naked person, he's only got this on. And mudded. And wrecked. Only 400 years ago. Classical world. Gone. Ripped to shreds. Natural? Judgment? Or just game over? So that looks surprisingly like the Tower of Babel. And it seems to be, I don't know, a lot of clouds going on. It's difficult to say, but it's nesting technology, pyramids, massive statues of the size of them. Literally hundreds of foot high. Or 100 maybe, I don't know, 50. Crazy high. For giants. Which occupied this realm which we are in, because the architecture tells us so, and so does the art. We found enough evidence. So these look truly in a mess. They got troubles. Wow. I'm guessing they survived in the bunkers, and they've come up after the waters receded and the events have stopped. These people all this time later, and still in this terrible way. And these trees, what? How old are they? 20 years, 10 years, 20. They're not massive. These are people, 20 years maybe after the events. Enough time for all the shrubbage. If you left all these cities now, if we were all gone, if we were all dead, the cities, nature would gain it back in no time at all. No time at all. Things would be covered in green. All these steel buildings and glass buildings, all subject to entropy. They wouldn't last. Not like these stone buildings would last. Look how much buried all this is. I bet this was massively high. Wow. And all the pyramid tech. So, mud flooded. So I'll share that book with you. It's good evidence of mud flood. So let's ask ourselves another little question: is In a reset, when there are, in this mud flood, we are guessing that the people or their remains were actually in the mud. Okay, and the bones. And every time there's a mud flood, it's different levels of bones below our feet. And the bones get crushed, causing piezoelectric forces, causing electricity, and so being a mechanism for the circuit board grid that we live on. Part of it. So I'm going to have some thoughts about what we could do with the dead. Now, this place here is really crazy. It's an island, okay, where possibly I'm going to put forward that you could hide a lot of dead people on islands, and say that you can go to the islands because maybe it's contaminated with something, or it's haunted, or there's something spooky. But with this case, this island has just started to erode and show its grisly secrets, which doesn't add up with their official narrative, but when you look at it from our narrative, it all makes perfect sense. They put a load of people on this island, okay, dead people, and what do you think they died of, apparently? Take a wild guess. The horrifying lost island of Kent that's littered with human remains. Okay, bones, skulls and coffins lying Dead Man's Island, opposite the Isle of Sheppey. Okay, so this is in the Thames estuary, going before you get to London by Medway. This is a horrifying island in the waters off of the English coast where visitors are banned and human remains from 200 years ago are slowly being exposed. So 200 years ago, that takes us back to the reset of 1811, and indeed that's the period they say these skeletons come from, the Napoleonic Wars. Welcome to Dead Man's Island, a place where rising sea levels and coastal erosion have begun to slowly wash away the final resting place of prisoners. I wonder if there's any actual evidence of that. Leaving their wooden coffins and skeletal remains sticking out of the mud. Because they're all popping out of the mud. Completely out of bounds to the public, so you can't go there. One of the few people that have seen it for themselves or herself is Natalie Graham, a documentary BBC. So the BBC can go in there because they're part of the beast state. The remains are believed to be the men and boys who died of contagious diseases on board floating prison ships once moored off of the Isle of Sheppey for 200 years ago. They say Napoleonic prisoners who died of disease, and they just dump them all on this island. How many are actually on there? Well, it's difficult to determine, isn't it? We can't get on there and have a look, and they only just come out and been exposed. Some of the photographic evidence, though, is these things are looking really, really fresh. Now, I know bog bodies keep fresh for quite some time, but I mean really fresh. They're all on the surface, so it's located there. If you go up this estuary here in London, it would be up by here. Okay, near Sheerness. And there was apparently in Queensborough a prisoner of war camp, so they said that the disease from the prisoner of war camp were all dumped on this island. Well, I think this island definitely holds more secrets. 200 years ago, just laying out in the open. So I looked into a few other islands. The Marshall Islands are forbidden for humanity to go there because they say it's highly radioactive. But that can't be the case, otherwise nobody would be living in Hiroshima or Nagasaki right now, or Fukushima. So that can't be a reality, so they don't want any people there. I'm thinking there's something else going on. Somewhere where you could hide ethnic cleansed or kill people in some sort of weird reset in the mud. Also, islands in Russia where Stalin, off of Archangel, up in the tundra, where Stalin killed and buried, they don't even know, maybe millions in an island near Archangel. Also, islands in Britain. We have one here, they contaminated with anthrax. Anthrax Island, saying you're never allowed to go there again. I'm thinking this would be a perfect place. I'm just thinking if I was like them, evil and a criminal mastermind, it'd be a great place to hide people, wouldn't it? In somewhere that's contaminated and nobody can ever go to ever, like Chernobyl. Yeah, you can't go there. Yeah, everything's thriving there. The women that work at that hotel thing that they got opening all year long look thriving and really happy and radiated, or radiant, so to speak. So I wonder who put that there. The woman who worked for the BBC. To my mind, that's a clear signal of iffy goings on in the mud. So that would be a good place to hide people, is on islands, and then forbid people to go to them because of, the radiation's not safe, even though it is safe, because you could obviously go there if you're in Hiroshima. That's a creepy image. And other bacterias or some sort of virus or epidemic, like the one that is in this Scottish island. If I just show you. That's some more images. I'll just show you this island. Gruinard Island is oval-shaped island, and it's only a quarter of a mile between, 2 kilometers to 1 kilometer, and it is a place where the British military did dangerous anthrax tests. Apparently, the island was dangerous for any mammals after experiments with anthrax bacterium in 1942, until it was contaminated in the late 20th century. So in 1942, what exactly were they planning to do with anthrax? Poison the German people? It's not much of a narrative for the history of the Scottish Islands, but they say it's associated with the Mackenzie clan, okay? And it was once full of woods, striking comparison to the treeless today. So it was woodland, and they say it was for thieves and rebels lived on the island, but that makes no sense. So there doesn't seem to be any records. There's a population recorded as 6 in 1881. But they say it hasn't been inhabited, so there's not much of a history of it. But it just seems like a perfect reason to say that there's anthrax, okay? And from 1942, you still can't go to this island. They could hide bloody loads on these islands, you would never know. But isn't it curious, going back to the Dead Man's Island, guys, that when we were researching the wrought iron technology of Tartaria being sawn down in World War II, and none of it making it to the war effort, and they were dumping it. And where do you think they were dumping it? They were dumping it right in here as well. So all of that wrought iron they dumped off the Isle of Sheppey, and it never made it to any plants to make tanks or bombs during World War II. Eh? So why were they removing the wrought iron technology, part of Technasmia? I'm probably going to block a lot of signals for the television that's being rolled out in 1950, after the war, even though they had it during the war. So that's concerning the dead and where they could be buried. I think they could use islands. That would be perfect, that you could never ever go to because of some bullshit narrative like there is with Gruinard Island, saying it's anthrax bacterium, okay, and no real history, just keeping everyone away forever, apparently. So a new subject, like I said, is going to be a mixed bag today. So did you actually share this out for me, please? So I'm going to come back in a little while. We're going to have a chat. I've had 1,000 thoughts. It's been a lot ongoing. We have basically willed our brother Lee, who is Flat Earth British subscriber, back. He'll be back soon, okay? Because I won. I've been busy with shows. I was on a show last night and I did a live feed, and a lot of things been happening all week, as you know, with the insanity that's happening in the world today. I want to talk a little bit about some things that have been happening with that, and share thoughts. Now, I got the images of this, right? This is absolutely stunning because it's so early. It's 1889. Okay, it's one of the early for commerce, and it's a sort of a different little exposition, but it seems to be, again, the spoils of a civilization. I've downloaded the photos because they're basically easier to present to you, and I'll go through a few of them now. And they show sorts of loads of clues right the way through. So these are in this book of exhibits, and what we got here is in Nice, and it says the casino's on fire. So I bet this was a beautiful Tartarian building. And look at the building compared to the riverside and everything. So messed up. And some ruins in Egypt, in Alexandria, of the classical world that got taken out as little as 400 years ago, just over. So that's just men falling off a boat. Okay, so some of the things in 1889 that they were selling, okay, or they're not selling actually, they were exhibiting, so you couldn't actually buy them. I take that back. Were these solar arrays which they were selling. Look very, very futuristic for the time, don't you think? Okay, so they were making energy from solar power and running whatever they got in you from the energy transference. No problemo whatsoever. Solar arrays. And some antiquity in Paris, an older civilization below the streets of Paris, which are many photographs available for these days. Have been exposed a lot more. And some of the classical works left over. Romane marriage. So that's a Roman marriage, which is a contract, isn't it? It's just a legal thing to do with their bullshittery. They fuck you over forever. See these things? Now, don't tell me that is not fantastic architecture, mind splat. So this is, 1800s, guys. Palace of Arts. Beautiful windows. I guess they let a lot of light in. So these palm trees looking pretty old. They carry them in on a cart with all of this architecture on carts with horses, and built everything you see in this because it's apparently all man-made. Are we looking at somewhere further back? These are supposed to be lithographs, but I think it looks like a photograph. Even get some ghosting, and here's some fountain water technology. We talk about the Phoenicians coming out of the water, the information downloaded, uploaded into the water. All is water in this place. We're living in water. And I will give you, when we get to images of the day, which are absolutely mad good today, guys, stick around for them, some evidence through an ancient from apparently 14th century depictions, beautiful colour, but they actually show you where the Phoenicians are. Okay, this transference in imagery when you have the eyes to see. So look at it. Look at it. It's like a photo, isn't it amazing? Because it is. So what's the deal? They show you the Phoenicians, the ships, metaphoric, I guess. But they did come from the water, the original sea peoples. There's been a couple of them spoken about. They're very mysterious. To me, archons, if you like, or demonic forms that work their way in, our subconscious, how this place works. Remember, all is mind in this place. So out there, outwardly, there's nothing out there because it's all you. And you've got the answers to everything you ever wanted to know. Not out the Akashic record, guys. The water, because water has memory of everything that's ever happened in this realm, and you're made of water, and you're breathing in water, you're breathing out water, and it's raining outside at the moment. You drink water, and the information is all locked in it. So when you ask yourself these questions and you're asking other people, what you're doing is you're looking for verification on the matter, because actually you really do know. We all do. We know what needs to happen with this absolute chaos, don't we? Look at that imp. Is he torturing birds or is he being nice? Maybe he looks a bit friendly. Ooh, that's a bit cheeky. Oh, that one's a bit animally. She's a bit of an animal, that one. Endless art. Yeah, he's a bit of a freakazoid, isn't he? What's on his feet? A little footstool. Top of a column. So, strange times indeed. Now, YouTube here made new rules 1st of October. Whereas in, you cannot, if you're a channel on YouTube, talk about anything other them pussycats. Not that there's anything wrong with posting your pussycat, because they're flipping wicked. It's just you're not allowed to talk about anything with any negative content text against the party. Okay, the crazy party that are now leading the world. So basically, you're not allowed to say anything about the Sharona. Sharona, she was a liar too. Is not going to be permitted. They say it's a criminal offence as well. Okay, so they say there's roundabout ways, so you're not allowed to talk about it in a negative context. Anything against the who the fuck are you? Who? Or any of these people who put themselves on stages, like parliamentary people, whoever they are, demons, and impose their crazy will on the rest of us in this strange animal family we find ourselves in. These are pretty cool. Okay, we have Javanese dancers. They're mystics. She looks pretty mystic. She looks like she's not to be messed with. She looks spirited, like her. She's looking like gone off. Wow, guys, that's pretty cool. They're mystics. Look how they dress. They're probably like kung fu as fuck. They're probably ninja, Java ninja. Whoa. This is not a handshake girly style BFFs. This is like, you know, chi energy, touch you move. Like you get in Men Instead of Goats, right, guys? You can kill somebody, right, with a touch move. Do you know how to do it? So you just like build up your chi energy to a moment, right? And then you just go touch. Okay, just touch them. And you give them the death touch. And they'll die maybe 30, 40 years later. Yeah, so it works. More classical art. This looks a bit modern, doesn't it? He's got a belt on. Let's have a look at that. It's like he has Batman's utility belt on. Holy sardines, Robin. Fetch me the shark repellent spray. Because, you know, if you're going to be a proper superhero, you need to have shark repellent spray. I would have thought of that. Anyway. Wow, I have never seen that soldier on that bridge before in Paris. So that's getting up to the Edwardian era. The car's not invented yet, though. Lots of people. What we got here is the promenade cafes on the Champ de Mars. Wow. So you got Amsterdam, so you know what you get in there. What's that? Don't know. Batu. Can't tell. So different destinations in each coffee shop. Look at these plantage. Is that a globe? This could be a celestial sphere or a globe. It just be part of their thing they brought in after the reset. They pushed that globe with the church, even though it said different stuff in the Bible. They all go with the globe. Is he having a kip? Or he's not real? He's a statue. Looks like he's dreaming. So who's that? Okay. So is that boy sleeping? And more classical art. Wow. See, you know, do you know in the Middle Ages, guys, they could have had like proper tunage. You could have gone to like a medieval banquet or something, and they could have had like skanger. They could have had like reggae beats, or even really up tempo. They could have been all dancing like proper modern, and she could have been like, you know, not just tuning out like some crappy old tune, just, you know, like really killing it. Yeah. Down and out, now. What? Not always Jimi Hendrix. Not everything is Jimi Hendrix related in this realm, Martin. Palace of Venezuela. Okay. What is it made out of? Pure cocaine. It's got the V going on, and the V and the V, the W. So last night I was on a show, which I'm going to give a big shout to and a link below and show you everything about it. Last night with Paul, who is Black Sheep Researcher. Okay, and he talks about the language change during the reset at the same time as I just showed you that mud flood and him changing the vowels. He called it the vowel reset, where they altered the language to look, she doesn't look like the arms for Allah type, does she? See what the church have got, like, sorry madam, couldn't possibly help you. That's what we're reduced to. Okay, okay. Religion rocks. Bronze official. She's got a wicked happy hat on. Who we got here? Okay, indigenous people from the colonies. Isn't it funny how the colonies is almost like colony? Are they trying to say the colonies are something to do with the colon? Are they being funny, the Phoenicians? So this is an engraving. Why is he ghosting? There would be no need to put him in. If it's a lithograph, I'm thinking that's more likely a photograph. And these faces are too realistic. Who are they? I don't know. So, hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. And this is how fantastic the past was. This is poo now. Yeah, I guess you need a gun to protect all that. And then the expositions, machinage. I've got every detail in this, guys. This is the American stuff. All of the stars for the stripes for the number of colonies. So suggesting, you know, I think New England as well. You know, you're not going to have a war of independence and name one of your states after the enemy that's been defeated. We don't have like a, you know, German Shire in Britain, if you know what I mean. So it doesn't make no sense. So I think there's like what we sort of know the alternative narrative by now. 1883. This is a more modern piece. And these things, see these quite a bit. There's some sort of technology going on here, guys. Stand under there. Well, it might not make any noise at all, that's just me. So, yeah, these things, you know, it's like, how many crosses do you need? Yeah, they're not for sale, okay? It's like them saying, look how many crosses we can exhibit. And look, cuts and plate, or mirrors. Look how many mirrors we can exhibit. And, you know, just extravagant, well-made shit. What are these? Medals? You see what I mean? Spoils of an empire. Look at that. Can you imagine walking through there 130 odd years ago? Bet it smelled nice. You couldn't have me in there. People who know me would testify that I would be not safe in there, because that would be the first to go. I would be like Borat in an antique shop. I would. Definitely. That would go. My elbow wouldn't help but hit that. I would probably accidentally push somebody through that. In fact, I could probably destroy 90% of the crockery in there just by a sneeze. Yeah, don't ever let me in anywhere like that. So, more nunnery going on. Really sinister. What are you doing with her? Well, probably burying her, I don't know. She doesn't look. She looks asleep. So that's Venetian, is it? Indeed it is. Spooky villainous. So yeah, beautiful depictions, classical art of a reset civilization showed in an exposition. I can show you the booklet here in 1889 of Commerce, and everything you find out about is there. Okay, I link that up to you, and also these. Now, Brussels is a fantastic city architecturally. It's hard to even imagine how cool this place is. Let's have a look, a couple of images of Brussels, shall we? Okay. So, yeah, Belgian capital. Belgium's relatively, well, not new state, but look at this. Just for the railings. These giant, thick things. You wouldn't have that in the modern day. They'd never do it. Just be that plonk of concrete. And you've got a panel on a statue and another panel on a statue, so you leave all of the details off. And even I bet he's a replacement from who was originally there. You know, Vlad. So yeah, loads of cluage last night on that show. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna link that up. You should watch it, guys. It's absolutely cluage and a really, really fab show. So cats and not much about there, and nobody about there. But look how fantastic and big it is. Arcade in Brussels. And the Phoenician shells and the water theme. The Phoenicians coming out of the water. Oh, look at that. It actually says piss. He's having a piss. Piss. I never knew French for piss was piss. Or Belgian. Which is probably either Flemish or French, isn't it? I don't know, you'd probably correct me on that. There's probably loads of dialects of Belgium. Some live on the Dutch border. So check out the technasmia on there. Yeah, an airship could have landed lovely on there. I'll step off. Down into there. No problem whatsoever. So a massive feat of engineering. It's that all-world architecture. And the column of Congress, which is very much like, excuse me, Trafalgar Square, isn't it? Except it hasn't got one of their, it's got one of their other people on it, and not Nelson with one eye. One eye, guys, come on. Sonic symbol, and he's got his hand in his you know, in his jacket, just like a Freemasonic symbol. Because they're hiding a lot in the background, in the skies every time. Look how old this thing is. Dirty, filthy. What's causing the pollution exactly? There's no cars. I'm going to be so filthy. Maybe it was horse farts that are doing it. Who even knows? But yeah, just like Nelson's column with the lions, the vibrating brass lions. So yeah, a lot of negative energy coming off that place. It's actually a pentagram. It's a triangle in the middle. It's the Masonic Centre. Trafalgar Square had the Palmyra Arch along with Paris and New York, which I posted about a couple of years ago when it actually happened, showing you that these places are Babylonian centres. And they had a cherry, which people like a cherry on a cake, if you like, in the middle of Trafalgar Square, where there's many things what that means. People are saying it was a 5G tower. Now, when I was trying to watch the events last weekend unfolding, they were all going black. All of the signals of all the live feeds, they were being blocked. I think it might have been that 5G, which I talked about last night on my vlogs. YouTube didn't say anything about not talking about 5G. Although my last 5G video got deleted. Plain white, deleted. Check that out. Belgium has fantastic architecture. And why is it all boarded up? Look at that. Looks like part of the expositions, doesn't it? Beautiful. Absolutely fantastic architecture. Spin that. Yeah, I've seen this once or twice as well. Whoa, look at that. Wonder what was in there originally. So nice little photos of Belgium. So the colour image of that is crazy good. Doing some work here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I reckon you could land nicely on there. Step out onto these gantries or lower gantries, depending on the size of the balloon, maybe. Also for these repurposed technasmia machines. Not all of them are technasmia machines, I don't think. Got cymatics in here, but it's a completely different thing going on with the windows. I think that would have had a slightly different purpose. Portals in these things. Why would they need them? Has to be another technology. So yeah, they're a very short photographic collection. I'll be able to share them to you. So I'm going to give you an idea of what's been happening on Flat Earth British. I'm going to come back, and then we're going to scroll through some images of the day. I'm going to share some thoughts with you on British Flatterday. So yeah, this is what I've been doing. So I'm blasting them out, guys, on Flat Earth British Think Tank. Make sure to subscribe to this. Okay. So 5 days ago, we called our brother Lee, SOS Lee, FEB sub. Oh brother, where art thou? I think he's seen this video, and he's going to be hopefully in this chat feed right now. If so, we love you, Lee. Thank you for coming back. We need you. So, FEB Extra, the Sea of Stones, was an extra that I did. It was an absolutely cool splatty vlog. Okay, and it's concerning Odenwald, or Oderwald, which is in Germany near Frankfurt, and it's a strewn field. And there's a narrative with it of giants living there, but what you witness is a melted civilization. Official narratives, there may be a Roman quarry in here somewhere, but there's no quarry as such, so they're just saying that they're chiseling these existing stones. Okay, they go with displacement, and what you can see is old world machining, and a crazy load of the old world still marked with scutching from stonemasons and melted civilization. So I covered this 2 days ago, and another number of other things in this post. So if you haven't caught up with it, I'll post this link for this below, and you'll be able to watch it later. So yeah, that's what I was up to. And yesterday, because it was my soul day, I talked about the mentally ill being lobotomized using electromagnetic radiation. Very similar to what they're using now with 5G and Wi-Fi and all of the rest of their smart weirdness. Okay, now since I posted this on Flat Earth British Think Tank, people be sending me places like it all over the world. There's a couple in America, not sure if there's more in Britain, but this was an interesting one out in the Philippines. Chocolate Hills, and the narrative for this also, take a look at it, put pictures of it now. The legend, 3 legends explain the formation of Chocolate Hills. The first tells a story of 2 feuding giants. Whoa, stop there. Who hurled rocks, boulders, and sand at each other. Right. This is the exact same narrative for the Cribs Causeway in Northern Ireland, and the same narrative for Fee and Foe on this video. 2 giants battling. Okay, and you get the same narrative here, and also you get the same narratives for Devil Bridges as well. It's got a Devil's Bridge in Wales, and they got that other one in Spooky Cernland, haven't they? So the fighting lasted days and exhausted the 2 giants. Same story again. In their exhaustion, they forgot about their feud and became friends. Ah, isn't that nice? I'm so knackered, I forgot what it was all about. Let's just hang out and be friends. Sweet. But when they left, that's a weak narrative. I'm not actually buying that. But when they left, they forgot to clean up the mess. Okay. And made during their battle. And it's now called Chocolate Hills. The third legend tells of the town being plagued by a giant caribou who ate all their crops. Finally having enough, the townsfolk took all of their spoiled food and placed it in such a way that the caribou would not miss it. Sure enough, the caribou ate it, and his stomach couldn't handle it, couldn't handle the spoiled food. So he defecated, leaving behind a mound of feces. So they're saying that it's a giant load of shit. Okay, just put things into perspective. So yeah, these things got the same narrative, and they're everywhere. It's really weird. So let's have a little look at it. I noticed in China as well, they got these strange mountain formations, look like gherkins, that you get nowhere else on the plane. It's just always in Southeast Asia. I wonder what's going on with that. So yeah, do you think that's a caribou's load of shit? Could be. Or could it be an ancient civilization melted down and they're all like pyramids? Because it looks like some sort of civilization, doesn't it? So, giant civilization number 2. Okay. Chocolate Hills. I dare say we'll find some more. So last night I was on here. Thank you, Jermaine Artemis, for mirroring my little sold a vlogage pre-show for this show last night, which is pretty cool. If you didn't see it, with myself and Paul, who is Black Sheep Researcher, which is an excellent show. I will link it up below. Make sure to go and check it out. And we talked about so much. It was a very enjoyable night, so I'll definitely be linking that up. Okay, I'm going to be coming back for a second. Tis me, Flat Earth British. It's only going to be a super long, super short vlog today, an hour and a half or so, because I've been really busy. And I come to bring the love. But images of the day, they are a good few, and they are bright splats. And they will take about 20 minutes to half hour to go through, okay? I've been collecting quite a bit. So, little catch up, what have we been thinking about? Well, we've been thinking about the weirdness of everything. We've been thinking about, basically, mud flood, and it seems that it definitely was about 400 just over years ago. Dead Man's Island, good place to hide the dead, wouldn't you say, if they're keeping people off? Just saying. And the first bit is the age of flight, balloon flights across the Atlantic is bullshit. The official story, that is. Okay, they were at least at the late 18th century, okay, doing transatlantic flights, okay, loads of them, flotillas, according to that depiction, which is apparently not fiction. So that's me. And Brussels, which is pretty cool. So I'll just share them because I do like vintage photographs. So I've been doing some etymology for the last few days as well. So that's been getting really interesting. The word chivalry, okay. The chivalric rights is chi energy, okay. And the second bit is Valerie, which is valor. So they are basically, it would seem, they are masters, okay, grasshopper knights. Oh, they use chi energy for valor. Like that. Okay, I wouldn't break anything then. So yeah, I've been thinking about, what do you think about Trump? Do you think Trump will be dead soon, before the election? What about the other one, Biden? Do you think his plane will crash, burn? Maybe. Just saying, it might not happen. Just saying, that's a possibility. Just put it up in the ether. So Trump, he's got man flu. I'm not allowed to talk about this because I'm not talking about a negative context. Okay, it's a really, really bad thing. Okay, we know him. He's got this man flu. Okay, so I don't think he'll be coming out to play anytime soon. Okay, it's getting really weird, isn't it? Now, he's got man flu as much as Boris had man flu. Okay, because Boris was flying off to Italy secretly on his helicopter a couple of weeks later. Things we all don't know about it, on his secret holiday. Yeah, like we don't know. And prophecy number 2. I've been reading about prophecies. In fact, I've been reading about a lot of stuff, but prophecy I've been really interested in. Okay, because we're basically in this really strange times, coming up to what appears like the end of time itself, and some sort of ascension process for the rest of humanity is underway. Okay, a non-physical reset. We've looked at the material resets, which are different types of reset. Okay, you have the lesser reset of 1811-12, which wrecks everywhere and kills many, many people. They use what's happening now as well for depopulation in this animal's farm, or this zoo, if you like. Okay, now I've got loads more decodes, but I need to get on. So we're going to have a look at some more information, images of the day. Okay, so I'll link everything up you've seen already in the descriptions below. Make sure to watch that show over there on Paul's. Make sure to subscribe to his channel as well. So before images of the day, I'm going to share with you some grabs. I don't know if you've seen these hieroglyphical grabs before. This is another one. I collect a few of them, but I can't remember ever seeing this one. It's a bit weird. And what you find is it's the alchemical era, and they are highly coded with Phoenician / excuse me, demonic art. So it is i783. That's pretty recent, this one. Our writing looks a lot older. So does the paper. Oh, that's why. So 1769 on these hieroglyphica. And it says i682 there on this. So this could be a rehash. It's got a question mark for 1735 there. But in there it says earlier. Okay, so there's 3 dates there, and this book is a question. So it could be older world. What it shows you is everything from homunculus to electromagnetic technologies, the whole narrative in a depiction. Highly sinister. Get the P codes, the X codes, you know, the shape of this place, and the burning heart, and some sort of homunculus jar here, and like on the place where Mount Meru is. Hang on, Mount Meru, and then you have this orb with the triangle with the eye, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, the kaleidoscope, and it's all in the firmament. The Medusa. So yeah, these made their way through. And look at this. Does this resemble anything of the world you see today? This is a burning empire, that classical world I just showed you, because of the same crazy statues. See this language? And do blokes have antlers in this day and age? I'm thinking not. This guy's having some sort of reaction from what may be the Ark of the Covenant, and I don't think it's Moses because he hasn't got horns on. Okay, he's pouring something out of their horn, water, and these jewels which he has are interacting with the Ark. So this is some sort of technology which we've always thought, because you know, jewels, crystals, vibration, you know, information they can hold. And this guy in the stocks, he's been reduced to eating a pig's head, which is, you know, he can't get to it because he's chained. So there's a lot of cruelty, and maybe he's just been cast a spell on, and now everyone got to eat pigs, and pigs are people changed into animals. This guy's dressed as an animal, and he's got to eat what looks like manky fish because it's got scales. Unless he's a fish man, and that's his dinner. And I'm reading it all wrong. So last night, Mudflood met Janus. One of the specialities of Paul, Black Sheep researcher, he talks about Janus, the god of portals. And another one of his personifications is this horny bastard here, who is Pan. Okay, Pan's people, who were fantastic. But there's pantheism, there's pan-demonic. So anything really with the pan, spermia, pan, just take your pick, guys. Pan America. Anything with panning is associated with this guy who's demoned, and he goes around chasing. You know, he's just basically a horny guy, and he goes chasing people around. You know, with his pan bits. So what's going on here? She's got one of those communicators and she's talking into it. Looking at the sky. Whenever people just scared, I'm thinking there's a sound. A terrible sound. So this is the Jesuit that's probably responsible. I'm thinking this is Loyola, as it says there. So I'm thinking this is the guy who started the Jesuits. Loyola was a Basque, and he has the holy hand grenade, which would fuck this place up royally forever. Guy with 3 heads, that's normal. What else we got? Looks like he's had his head done in. Smell with your Brian, mate. So the crucible, I think, is a clue for the shape of this place as well. And you know, Hieronymus Bosch shows the flat plane in some sort of circular sort of enclosure, but the inertia plane is certainly on it. Meru on it. Okay. Wing years, so you know you can fly around. The M again. The M, and she's got the V. So this is the vowels, the language, the spells, the magic spells in the water. She's got a communicator going on. Now, when I was reading into prophecy, I found a clue that said about, like, basically the demons or the jinn or the Phoenicians or whatever you want to call them, find their way in through reflections, or they're like basically the person who is you on the other side of the mirror is not you, but another you, and not actually you. It's a reflection of you, which could demonically affect you. So Don't know if mirrors are all that good. Look at this guy here, or this woman. It's just crazy cryptoids, people with human heads and stuff. And where is the Phoenician coming out of? Could you pray tell? Yes. In fact, you're going to see it with a lot of these are in the clouds. So here's a fish head troublemaker. Maybe he's after some money or something. Bringing cheese and onion crisps and Coca-Cola with him to tempt them, is he? So he's weighing up. I think he's scoring. Oh no, he's got a massive holy hand grenade, and he's got his dog sphinx woman thing. I don't know. So yeah, I'm not going to show all these because there's 100 of them. I'll definitely share them out. We'll move on a little bit. So this guy's stabbing that woman in her head. I'm not being funny, mate, but this 3D image glasses are not really working. Look, he's got 3D glasses. What do you think he's doing? Dead. Dead. And where are they again? Yes, they're in the clouds, aren't they? She's been sieving something. So yeah, they're freaky. That's a really strange one. They're all pretty strange and apocalyptic anyway. So what you get here in the sky again is a load of demonic beings. The owl being. Seen a few of these before. Margaret Thatcher, Myrtle. The Queen should be here somewhere. She's the Queen's a chicken though. And this guy here, it looks like he's been electrified. I've seen him in other depictions before. He always shows up. In another hieroglyphica that I've seen he was in. He's strange. Seen him before. Look at that. The demons suck your brain out, guys, through your ear. Yeah. They think they're hard, guys. Yeah. Are we going to take it from the demons? Are we going to take it from the Phoenicians? Yeah. They thinks they're rock. They thinks they're Dr. Rock. Look at him. He's got a swollen head, so he's trying to take it away with a bit of causing a vacuum and going. All he's going to end up with is a big love bite on his cheek. So that's just stupid. Bit like the epidemic. I said it. Not supposed to. Special kind of stupid. So yeah, it's October the 3rd today, 2020, or so they say. The year that never really happened. And now, all you hear in the distance is endless sirens, and it's all very, very apocalyptic out. All sounds and feels weird, spooky. That one's incomplete. Maskage. For history surely repeats itself. What's on this one? Where are they coming from? Out of the water. And they show you in every depiction that is some sort of flood there, because they look like they're drownaged. So stunning depictions, aren't they, guys? There's hundreds of things. I'll link the book up to you, and you can, study them your own time. Hieroglyphicas, highly coded, apocalyptic themes, reset. Human, is that what was he? Is he injecting some smug up on that? Right, he's doing a bit of bless this poor guy, and he's what? Tattooing the baby. He's putting something in its neck from this bottle, guys, using that. Want to hazard a guess? Head on a pike, and this guy's got an eye on his, where his pineal gland should be. He's got a third eye. He's got a bit of cyclopsian going on. Rest of the trouble is up in the sky. Whoa. Babylon. Classical world icons and deities. Cool. Let's have a look down there, love. I'm too busy talking to my friend on Skype. Cool. Not sure. Constellations. So let's move it up the book a bit and see what it gets further on, because I don't want to keep you all forever. And it is Flatterday. Happy Flatterday. See the Jesuits? So this world's got reset, what you're looking at here. With all these cryptids. And then they managed to regain, tart up all the architecture, stick their weird statues all over our civic buildings, gain every aspect of the system, mastery of water, and hoodwinked everyone into thinking they control consciousness through consent when they don't. They don't control consciousness at all. With a false narrative of the whole of existence based on their bullshit. What's he got on his shoulders here, guys? Fasces. Fasces. So a load of gorgons. They don't have just the one. And they always have saggy breasts, don't they, gorgons? Look at him. So the homunculus are always alive in these, aren't they? Got dog head going on. More dog heads, double-headed dog heads, Janus dog heads. And sphinxes that are alive. Is that writing? No. So let's move on. Oh, and the devil or an evil spirit chaining someone to this sphere again. There's a lot of suppression going on. Cruelty in a very, very strange world. Not that long ago, but it was somebody's head then. But as you can see, the dates were being argued about. So whoever come across these, the serpent creating a charge, volcano erupts. Oh, it's so sinister, so spooky. Ever-present carnage. It's almost like hysterical reset. It's everything is so chaotic. Awful, awful. Awful. The mask again. It's part of their ritual, 100%. The mask was definitely going to play a role in there. Wrapping this up. Drove all of us down to a block end. So, images of the day, and I will be coming back, and I'll be here for today, for an hour and a half. So, happy Flatterday, y'all. Some cool images in here. These are my images of the day. Make sure to share this show out. There's still a little bit to go. So, what we're witnessing here is from the Middle Ages. Things that they invented to get into star forts and castles, and they're not what you imagine. So this is something they invented. That is a ram to gain access to a castle. This is also robot wars. Okay, is that really armor? Robot wars, I'm guessing they're all inside there. It smashes through the gates and they all jump out. So that's pretty cool. And this thing looks surprisingly like a tuning fork. I'm guessing they push it along and everyone gets impaled on it. But it's definitely looking like a tuning fork. So this would vibrate. They would vibrate. Something else could be going on there. And they're using what looks like a Archimedes screw to pump water. And apparently these are the weapons of this era. So that is mine. Some massive strange cannonage, and whatever cannonballs or things that these are. They look like holy hand grenades. They're apparently projected through this thing here. Okay, they look deadly. What are they? I don't know. They're not cannonballs, are they? What about this? It spins like a crazy bastard, yeah, and it just spits cannonballs. So I don't know exactly how you get the enemy. You probably kill all your own men with that one. But wow! Or actually, you could just turn it once because it's on a capstan, fire it that way, turn it again. So it's a repeater machine gun cannon. And you could keep on loading it, so it would just keep on going. Why didn't they have them in the First World War? And a gantry for getting your cannon around, apparently. So this looks a bit more cannonball-y, doesn't it? Making of a cannon, maybe. And some mortars, they got mortars going on. Rather large mortars. Right, there's that image again of Uncle coming back from America and his aerostatic. Uncle coming back on the 3rd of October. It's today. Huh. What's the chances? 3rd of October. Wow. What are all the odds on that at? So yeah, it was good. It was a good trip. Bon voyage! Goodbye, Uncle. See you on the other side. You'll get there before me, so I'll see you in a few months. This is apparently in Kent, and it's a Tartarian mansion. Apparently it's up for sale. They're doing some work on it. Can't remember the name of it now, I'm very sorry, but look at that thing. It's left out in the wilderness, in the woods. Strange depictions from the Middle Ages. Apparently, in the Middle Ages, they had not nailed the Caesarean section. The Phoenicians nailed the Caesar section, named after one of their Roman dudes, Julius Caesar. They slit there, and then it's like sort of, you know, comes up, not right, drill a big hole in the dead lady, and then pull the baby out who's already grown, okay, with long hair. Looks like he's a member of Aerosmith. Also last night I covered the mentally ill. Here's Mary. I feel sorry for Mary. She's got one eye looking at, you know, Birmingham, one eye looking at London. So, and they lobotomized that guy. So what was wrong with them? Why was their vibration off and their brain frequency so much in that era? Why could people break so much under the strain of society? Well, I'm beginning to understand in this era why. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but she has horns. She's tied up, so they've captured a horny giant woman in a red dress, okay, and they're doing something with crampons to her nipples. So I don't know if it's like some weird giant porn going on. So they're squeezing at her breasts with crampons, and she's definitely a giant. Wouldn't you agree? Because they're dudes, aren't they? Got beard. So maybe that was what was going on, is humanity just got like, we went weird on the giants, and they got so scared and they just went. So they're fucking humans touching us up, man. So this is something else I was looking into this week, was the English Civil War and basically the beheading of Charles. And where are the Phoenicians? Where are they all? In the clouds. And what I find fascinating is this lady here, call her that, she looks not only identical, but she looks exactly like the young Queen Victoria. How can that be? Because they're related along the way, all of these. Who's been given the laurel leaf of control. So this woman is not in the modern day. She's in the 1950s in a mental institution. She's been lobotomized. She's gone. And she's basically, this is the behavior of a mentally ill person in the asylum. She's got section for that in the 1950s, guys. Now they're all doing it under orders. Damn. I showed that in my last one. So, stone art, always a fascination with flat earth British, veils, and that woman, she looks like she's human, and she looks like she's staring right at you through a veil of stone. But isn't it spooky and isn't it weird? Oh, they look right at you, even the statues. So this is San Francisco, an image after the events, but I don't know whether they're blocking fire using dynamite, but it looks like something just exploded in front of the city hall in San Francisco, like a shell or some sort of big explosion. So that could have been during the taking out of this, and that might not be just dynamite detonation to stop the fire where? See where I'm coming from? Where is the fire coming from? So I don't think it's the dynamite detonation to cause breakers. I think there's literally some sort of weapon being used, and by the look of that, it's been big, to demolish this city. Some artifacts of antiquity. So yesterday, as I said, was my soul day, and I want to thank Sue Cadwell. If you're watching this, thanks Sue, love. She's a lady who lives in Cardiff, popped in and gave me some homemade jam, some healthy nasal stuff, which is made of like lavender and another element, plant, and a chair. So I was really grateful for that. So thanks, Sue. Fantastic of you. I don't know what stone that's made out of, but look at the gold. Oh, my son, who just makes gold jewellery, would absolutely love this. Well, Stragger Metals, I will link him up below if you're interested in shiny things, ladies, even gentlemen. You'll be very interested in it. Look at that. Like Indian headdress. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, it's Effethers, it's feathers. They're all feathers. Effethers, they interact with ether. So, let's have a look here. I find it haunting myself for some reason. And also between Russia, okay, and the on the island of Sakhalin, which I've covered pictures of this on my posts, there is the Tatar Straits. The Tartar Straits. This one looks definitely human. Lace. And then veils. Something about them veils. And also reminds me of the Turin Shroud. You know? Something about that as well. Which I've covered. Lapis. Lazuli. Gold. Batted! Don't know what it is. Could be a bat. Looks batty to me. And a car of the old days. And check out that engine. Are these pistons? Because that's a racing car, and they are massive pistons, and that must have some incredible power. Looking right at you. She's not actually. She's got one eye a little bit open, but she's mostly eyes closed. She looks stoned. She looks stoned. Joke. Oh. She looks stoned too. Fabulous eggs. I've covered these on Tartarian channel. If you don't know about it, link it up below. 1,000+ videos on the Celtic Tartarian channel. One of our other Flat Earth British channels. The magnificence that was for the brat of Nicholas II, who had, like, his family demanded eggs by Fabergé. Eggs inside eggs, inside eggs. So, clue to the shape of this place. Also, a Tartarian library and being burned to the ground. But how did this happen? We get this replicating story for burning libraries everywhere. This is how I like to imagine Tartaria. And then the heat, all of this melted down onto these buildings. Maybe these are gone, and some of these monasteries and stuff that you see in the modern day left on top of these mesas and hills. Still got the pyramid tech and the rotundas going on. But yeah, you can see how that was replaced. Beautiful. Tartaria. Bologna, I'm sure you've seen it many times. It looks like Manhattan, I'm sure you've seen. In the 18th century. And even earlier. So this is Bologna, which is full of towers and looks remarkably like Manhattan in modern day. But it's not, it's hundreds of years ago. Liberty, libertas, liber. There's clues in that word, liber. Liberal. All the words with that at the beginning. It's another decode in itself, guys. And this is the Tartaria, I imagine, as well, guys. Okay, is just beautiful. Okay, all in beautiful, clean, rustic, natural, healthy, vibrationally proper. And these buildings, look at this architecture. You can imagine coming out here on a warm day. So I love that. That is the world I would like to live in, just like that. And then the Phoenicians came in after that reset, and they came in with a massive lie. You know, they say that Atlas actually holds up the world in their narrative nowadays, but in the old narrative he's actually holding up the firmament or the sky. Okay, now what I find fascinating for this early depiction, okay, with the Phoenicians, and this one is, hazard a guess, 18th century, okay guys, and they're giving you exactly the same way it looked, except for a massively oversized Britain, which is bigger than Spain. Ireland's almost as big as Spain. Tiny little France. Give him a tiny little France. And I wonder what she's got that compass open at. I would hazard a guess at 23.5 degrees. I would hazard a guess at. And isn't it remarkable how they got exactly the same images of the globe, okay, that NASA apparently took on the Apollo missions in 1969. So that's a good call. They got it exactly right, because he didn't actually get up there for a couple of 100 years later, apparently, to see said ball. So yeah, they nailed it, didn't they? Duh. So Paris expositions. That's a nice little photograph. Captures a nice bit of pollution going on. Accurate black smoke. Wonder what's being burnt. Barry. Betty Falou. Betty Baloof. Look at the skank on this though. What do you think's going on, guys? Just age. It's all just rotted and fallen off. I like it. It's got character. And I noticed in front of the Arc de Triomphe, I've seen different evidence of this, but these piles of stones and these piles of stones, are they just laying the cobble then, or are they repairing it? Also in Paris, full range of Venetians. Do you see these head things they have? Yeah, these toroidals. You'll see them with the Venetian statues dug up in antiquity, and they will show you a Phoenician woman, if you want to call them that, with these ear things. It seems like some sort of super futuristic communicator. Think of Flash Gordon, and then you can get closer to it. So again in Paris, looks like St. Paul's Cathedral, but it's not. It's Paris. Mud flooders, all. Anyone about? Yeah, maybe one. So there's the head. So basically the head of state got his head chopped off by this guy with curly hair. Okay. And basically we ended up with a guy called Oliver Cromwell, the Lord Protector. Solving the mystery of Babylon the Great. Now this is what they basically looks like off of the film Alien, but it's in the Vatican, and they have one also in Brazil. So somebody sent this to me, thank you very much, for saying, have you noticed the Vatican, how much it looks like a crocodile? Took me a little bit of time to see it, but now I see it, it looks exactly like a crocodile's head. So yeah, the lump, the eyes, the shape, and the mouth, all elongated. There it is in a photograph, and there's a crocodile. Take a look. It definitely looks like a crocodile's head, doesn't it? Except for the dome. Mouth of the beast. This is when a new year came in. I'm wondering if there's a clue with time shifts. Because this little, Cherabanuski says the year 1884. All 5 times there at midnight, Paris, because the old year is dead. This angel's dead, a rebirth, if you like. And in 1883, and I'm wondering if there's something going on with it, and if it's not just New Year's. And where are they? up in the clouds. And the information. And it cons humanity into saying, you know, Atlas was holding up the, you know, the globe when he's holding up the firmament, and these people are doing the same. These giants, if you want to call them that, are holding up the firmament, the sky. More communicators again, so something definitely evil going on with mirrors. And they're showing him there. Is that him? Could be, but it's not, because it's not you, it's a reflection. So like we said with the air balloons, guys, these giant hangars definitely 100%, excuse me, these crystal palaces could have definitely had massive air balloons for the transport of Tartaria, and use your evidence that they had them in the great expositions in there, full-scale dirigibles, moored up to Delaware, Fiat, Nome. Is this in Alaska? Nome, Dorego, I don't know what that one is, could be Reno. So I can't imagine if they're giving it away that they're going to be flying to, is that Delaware? No. Will they fly into Alaska from Paris? And we have some planes here as well. A lot of aeroplanes. So the narrative for that is the first transatlantic flight is Limburg. But I don't really go with that. I think they had planes a lot earlier, because I've shown them on depictions as early as the 1700s. Real airplanes, guys. So this aerostat has some sort of strange device above it. Very futuristic geometry. Can't imagine what it is. Phoenician thing going on though. And that's 1910. And the same umbrella tech. There's so many depictions concerning it. This one obviously is with a balloon, no problemo, but this one isn't, is it? It's testing this science, these umbrellas, and this winged science. And in these dirigibles, like I said, guys, you can, you know, this is 1789 here, massive amounts of people. Oh, in 1804, 3,000 in there. 3,000 in there. It'd be no problem to drop an entire invasion force using balloon skies at night. You wouldn't even hear them coming. Much better than those old planes. And some of the captures of antiquity, I'm guessing. And he's basically going through it all. You know, this is what's happening with inventors. They're going through an inventory and they get told to try and get whatever you can working. Fasces. Try and get whatever you can working. I like that because I like the way the light caught it. So I thought it was clever. I don't know where the light's illuminated from. Possibly a candle lower, but not pretty. Guessing their hands were cold back then. Didn't have walls or windows. Phoenicians invented glass. So I don't know what they're whoa-in about here, guys. Really couldn't tell you the context. There's a Phoenician jug hanging out. She looks wasted again. And the other one's like lamenting. Get a lot of that lamenting going on. I guess it's a Greek narrative though. And this is the older world. Massive high. For this little fella. All of that. They didn't build it. They did not build that. This is spoils. Yes, bask in your magnificence. Napoleon. N. Which is almost an M. Napoleon real. These are some of the decorations found in some of these places. 1805 to 1815. And the reset's over by then. But I thought they were amazing. I'll show you some more of them. The geometrics in that. Just don't have decoration like that in this day and age, do they? And this. Napoleon's whatever. Ice bucket. Phoenicians again. Figureheads. Frigging in the rigging, cause it's fuck all else to do. And another Phoenician. And these ones look like peacock feathers, maybe? Or penguin feathers? Or sacred sperms. Who knows? And there's another hieroglyphica. And in this case, either she's holding a picture, or she's actually talking, somebody's there and he's like, hiya mate, what's going on? Oh yeah, just thing going on with a communicator. This is how fantastic they had it in entertainment in the past. Fountains, fireworks, and who knows what other technology is in place for some kingage coming into power. Look at these. Are they fireworks? These look like lightning here again. And this is could be a Faraday cage of sorts. There's railings all the way around it. Triumphant September, August. Libertas again. Religion, Libertas. Sounds like a crock of shit to me. Right, these are from a Middle Ages booklet. I've given you the best depictions that I got out of it. Highly interesting, guys. You start with a bit of cartography, and we're dealing with 1490s here, so right, apparently before the reset. Let's have a look what it tells us about the Phoenicians. So they split it completely into the world, okay, with a line, okay. I was going to say Madeira. I'm wondering, because of all of the known world at this time is on here, either are they saying this is Africa and they put a line between them, or are they saying that this is the known world and there's another world and there's a line between us? This is Britain, Europe. Very strange, and water all the way around us as well. Thought it was fascinating. And apparently they can build ships with giant cathedrals or cities on them at this period of the Middle Ages. And crazy picture this is. Looks exactly like a star fort. I'm guessing they're all saintages, or they are the disciples, because there's 12 of them, and they're also in a Tudor rose style and fashion. I'm finding. Let's have a look what's happening at the top, because usually there's a bit of carnage going on. So they're cooking this guy and his 4 horses in a big pot, or is this exhaust fumes because he's just flew in. Portal again. Some angel clipping a lion's toenails. It's very kind. I thought they were all bad news. But yeah, this is like a comic, but it's from apparently over 500 years old. Over 500 years old. It's got the many-headed Hydra, which is probably like the beast of 7 heads in the Book of Revelation, just different parts of the empire, different branches of the empire. So we got a line, so I'm guessing above there is blue because it's the sea, and another realm where a pot-bellied dog-head king lives. Oh God. And what are they doing? Where did the pot-belly god come from? In fact, where do they all come from? They all came from the clouds and water. These were born of water, the fish. This guy's born of water. These are born of the sun, plasma. And this evil doghead dude, if he is evil, I'm just saying, I'm just surmising, is born of water. Sea Teddy, but it says sea. Sea Teddy. Cluage. Frogage. Right, okay. Let's have a look at some more, because you get a lot of dragons turning up, I guess. So this dragon is breathing water. Draco Rufus. Rufus. I had an English teacher called Rufus. God, he done my head in. is breathing water into this other dragonage, if that's what it is. Okay, what we got here? Wow, this is so weird. It's hard to even imagine how weird. So I'm guessing Jonah just turned up. Joas. Could be Jonah. Obviously they're all biblical characters, but there's a lot of sinister stuff going on. And they show you where the Phoenicians turn up from. Is that a load of cash? No, it's just a handshake. Alright, God, you got a deal, mate. Sort it out. Don't come back until they're all dead. I think this is George and the Dragon, because you got the English George's cross. Only in this case, George has been, basically pimped up to angel status. I thought he was a saint. Do saints have wings? Psst. Didn't even speak English by all accounts. Didn't even spend any time in Britain. He was off crusading, or whatever. Then, there's a bit of dodgy narrative to, about the Knights Templar. They were very Spartan. So this angel has arrived from where? Out of the water. And where are all of them hiding? I know. It was there all along, guys. Oh, Lee's not choking on his coffee right now. Look at this. Just fucking running, right, on a king horse thing, right? And stabbed this couple who were, in bed in the fucking head with a spear. I don't think that's good. These two, right, all of the buildings are crashed to the ground. They're in a portalage. These people are trying to hide themselves. It's like, oh, don't look. It's like, oh, don't look. Ooh, ooh. I don't know what's going on, but there's a lot of nudity. Move along, move along. Maybe she's saying, Achtung! Verboten! And this guy in the wormhole's waiting with his sword to eat them. Oh, the big chow down, the big chow down. So, that's Queen Elizabeth there, look. Don't tell me it's not. She's going to pull your money out, guys, and tell me that's not Queen Elizabeth. They're replicating characters. Oh, look what happened to Margaret Thatcher. She had Queen Elizabeth biting her head. I thought Queen Elizabeth was a chicken. Who's she riding? In fact, is this a boat? Or is this a flying device? You're in water, aren't you? That's a soul. Okay, I get in it. Wow, this is caning my head in this. My brain is bursting. What's going on? That is the Queen, isn't it? Yeah, I know it is. Look at he's getting his head bit. It is funny. I'm guessing she's a giant angel. God, look at her hair. It's really curly, isn't it? Curly hair. Look, they all got curly hair. I wonder what's with that. Right, here's a load of knights. This guy, this dragon, got a monster on its tail, which is biting this guy's face off. Wow. So he's biting your face off there, biting your back off there, stabby stab you. Look, I don't understand why, these are big anyway, these giants. He's like, I'm so, he's using chi energy, chi vala, yeah, chivalry, okay. So he's basically making sure this tiny little person, possibly as a child, okay, stabbing it and getting it with two serpents, whilst with his left foot, basically beating someone else up who's getting stabbed in the leg, through the leg with a sword. Well, this is really cruel. I tell you what, they had really wicked bad graphic art back in the day. Who knew, guys? We could start an entire genre, yeah, medieval graphic art. So, look at the face on him. He wants food. So they always end up in this demon's head, don't they, in fairness? The furnace of purgatory. Purgatory. The Tories are in there somewhere. So more fish. Phoenicians out of the water. Ooh, I don't know. I don't like the look of that. And the Phoenician ships. Yeah, it's all in there, guys, where they came from, isn't it? They came from the water. Everybody's going to die. This one, alright, although it does say globulus here, I've really tried to read the Latin, but it's got all the firmament, and it has Asia green bits, but it is on an inertia plane here. But they've separated Africa and Europe into thirds, or 1, 2, 3. But it is the same as the crucible or the holy hand grenade, is it not? Yeah, it is exactly like it. Oh, let's have a look what's happening down here. Oh yes, Aries, etc. So apparently, colour shot of the Eiffel Tower, which is red in them days. Look, I'm guessing that's red ochre. It's not red in Mondays, is it? And apparently all the scaffolding helped build the exposition at the time. It's apparently a real photograph, bringing all the materials in up this road to build all this fantastic civilization. Is it real? Where's the sky? Little shed up there. So yeah, it's just, I don't even know. Something doesn't fit. It's like a Kubrick backdrop. Another one of these. I think he's got his tongue in the wrong place. Another one of these reflectors of like information. In this case for anatomy sciences. There's Charles. He's going to lose his head. It probably done, but it's all right though, because you know, corona there. He's going to have it put in a jar in the hall of kings and presidents and stuff, where they all talk to one another. I'm guessing play. Well, they can't play many games just being ahead. So I guess Scrabble, chess, drafts are out. Guess who I am? Game they could play. Easy. Play Guess Who I Am. Or 20 questions. So yeah, it's funny how these natural fates, like tempests, come up all of a sudden and win like the Spanish Armada and stuff. So this is Queen Elizabeth, as you've seen her earlier in another incantation, and she's turned up because Drake, okay, has just showed up from South America with a lavish stash, okay, of good stuff. So she's turned up. Yeah, I said not to worry too much about the potatoes the last time, didn't I? Yes? And did you get that nice stuff that I smoked and really liked? The tobacco, ma'am. No, the other stuff. Yes, ma'am, I got plenty of that for you. Good, good. Did you get any other things? Yes, madam, your highnessness. Look. Oh, she's always on the fucking one, isn't she? She's a queen. She's a bit of a diva. You can see she's a diva. She's knighting him. Do you know what that means? No, not me. So there they are, the Satanists who are the Catholic Church. Would you disagree? They got an alien, and there's loads of skulls and death things in this. There's one also in Brazil. See the head on them? Yeah. Religion's like Babylonian death cult. And in Gibraltar, they had bombardments in 1782, but they're not really the warships we think of in the modern day. Have you ever seen basically an aircraft carrier full of people, or cannons on these small ships, and giant mortars, either end of some small barge? Have you ever? Who knew? More alchemical strangeness, post-mud flood. Everyone is just blobbing out and serpenting out and just dying and wriggling with serpents, because the serpents is electromagnetics. There could be a sound that could make everyone go mad, just a sound in itself. So apparently this is making the Eiffel Tower. I don't buy it at all, guys. I think there's something wrong with this photograph. What is this stuff? Did they make the Eiffel Tower of wood? And they covered her in lead plate, and then it's up there today. And she's holding the book, Statue of Liberty. Because this looks like wood, doesn't it? And they coated it with this stuff. And what? That's steel? It's not. So how is a wooden Statue of Liberty existed with all them hurricanes and winds that hit from the Atlantic every year? It makes no sense. I think it's fake. And as you can't get many pictures of it, as UAP, Epic UAP, as talked about many times, this looks a bit different to the one we usually see on top of Fort Wood. But apparently this is it being built, and they take it all a bit at a time, including a face. But as you just seen, apparently it's made of twigs. Okay, balsa wood, something. So I'm coming back. So that's me for today. Happy Friday. Fat films, loads of that, loads in there, and I've been having a really busy week catching up. And it's my sole day yesterday, so I've just basically been like it today. So make sure to subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the Flatterday. There was loads to think about. There's more stuff to come out this week. So I'm going to be doing a post in a day or two after this one. So make sure to subscribe to Flat Earth British and all other Flat Earth British channels and associated channels. Good to see Lee Flat Earth British back when he does turn up, which he's probably not, I hope. And all my fine friends in the Flat Earth British chat feed. You're very epic people. Thank you very much. Love and light. Light up. Ping. Anyway, I gotta get going. Peace and love to you all.